Are gold diggers necessary? Man, y'all, let's hop into this thing right now. Yeah.
It's your boy JB, live and direct to you. You know what it is. Come on and join in. Ha 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 ha.
Yes. What up? It's your boy JB coming at you live and direct, and you know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff. You can find me on Instagram at the Real Cigar Jeff. You can find me on Facebook at the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. And of course, you're on YouTube. So do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications. And y'all know, man, this is another hot topic we got for y'all. Are gold diggers necessary? And when I have questions, I got to bring the real people on to get some real answers. Man, I got to introduce my panel. And yeah, they showed up for this topic. We got to get into this thing. I got to tell y'all, I'm going to let him introduce himself. I got Big J the Barber in the building. Let them know where they can find you on the socials. Introduce yourself, brother.
Y'all already know it's your big homie, Big J the Barber. You can find me on Instagram, Big J the Barber, and also on YouTube as well. Come on now, help your boy out. Get some followers on YouTube now.
Yes, y'all know it's always good to have my dog back. Welcome to the podcast. Yes. You know how it is. Of course, y'all know who else we got in the building, the resident antagonist, the self-proclaimed people's champ. Y'all know he's a superstar now. He did his little amateur night thing. We didn't get the result he wanted, but he still chose to come back to the podcast, man. Still staying grounded, not forgetting where he come from. Thank God he didn't win, because we would have only had 3 people on the podcast tonight. He waiting to tell me I can go to hell. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Tell y'all where y'all can met on the socials.
What's going on? It's your boy TLC. You can always find me on Instagram at TLClayton1. Also, I'm at Patreon. The Joke I Didn't Tell. You can find me there. Tonight, I'm doing the Williford Reserve. Sipping on that.
Ooh,
Little
okay.
Williford.
Okay.
And I still have some Gurkha sticks from my sponsor. Big shout out to Chris Clayton of Navigate Realty. You know,
Look.
Yeah. Look about. So this is the Gurkha stick. This is a aged 15-year cellar reserve. So do a little something tonight.
Did you see that?
I definitely want to say thanks to everybody who came out to the comedy show. I didn't win, but I went on the inside, and that's what matters.
We got moral victories over here on the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. That's all it is, moral victories on the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. Of course, man, you know we always glad to have TLC. My mama make me do this. It's enough. All right. Yeah, and y'all know, last but not least, my A1 from day one. I gotta let her introduce herself. Tell y'all where y'all can find her on the socials.
Hey, thanks, JB, for having me back on the podcast. Glad I made the cut. You can find me on IG at RMBLMBT. Tonight I had to pull out something simple. Didn't even know how to open the bottle. So I got me some Grey Goose tonight.
Oh, the goose is loose.
First time opening the bottle. And
Goose is loose.
it into a vodka lemonade.
Nice. Okay. The lemonade though, is it country time? What kind of lemonade
You know
is it?
it's country time. I don't have to know home. No.
Well, y'all got me missing home. Big J, what you sipping on? You ain't tell us what you was sipping on, Jay. What you sipping on, Jay?
Man, I'm just on here with this some Tito's and man, I forgot.
He's been sipping already. But Rhonda, you got me homesick with the country time lemonade and Grey Goose.
It was about to be the pink lemonade.
You should have went with the pink lemonade. You should have went with the pink lemonade and vodka. Yeah. That would have been classic. Man, y'all know it's always good to have my dog, my A1 from for sure. Yeah, got to keep it going long, man. Y'all know I'm smoking on my little H Up, man, by AJ Fernandez, man. Can't get enough of this stick, bruh. Bought a box of these things, and I've been loving them. I'm telling you, I've been on this stick. And once I knew what the topic was going to be, I said, I got to get this H up in TLC. Now, TLC, if you go back, you got that Cellar Reserve. Y'all go to y'all on the YouTube page. Just scroll down. You'll see the Gurkha Cellar Reserve review we did. Me and the Real Cigar K, we did that Gurkha Cellar Reserve review. So y'all go check that out.
I like this Real Cigar K's advice. So yes, that's what I mean.
Haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate already.
Yes.
and of course, I'm sipping on my Heaven Hill, from the Heaven Hill family, my John Fitzgerald Larceny bourbon, And so y'all know how I get down TLC. I gotta sip on that Larceny when you get a chance. Woodford is good, but I'm gonna enhance your bourbon vocabulary. But let's get into this thing. Go ahead, TLC, because you gonna end up.
No. I saw that was ranked in like the top 10 for bourbons. So I did see that online.
Just like you
I've
on
never tasted.
Just like you on this top 10 podcast. Now I don't know what ranking. I don't know what list that is, but it's somewhere on the top 10 somewhere. Trust me. We just don't know the list yet. Now let's get into this thing. Are gold diggers necessary? Big J, you know the rule, brother. I always come to you first. I already seen your face. I already saw you at the barbershop a couple of days ago. I already know how this going. So let's hear what Big J got to say about this thing. Are they necessary? And tell me why or why not.
Well, the first thing that come about, in my opinion, is, there's always someone out there for somebody. So the thing is that if a male decides to entertain such behavior from a female, there will always be that individual that will go ahead and make an offer for that person to entertain. So if it's entertained from somebody, which means that if there's a male or a female, because it could go both ways, either or, but if there's a male that wants to entertain a gold digger, there will always be gold digger. Now, me personally, I don't mess with no gold diggers.
Okay, all right. I got to make sure you finish. I ain't know there was a dramatic pause or if something else was coming. Now, before I got to see. You want me to come back to you? You want me to come back to? Okay, I ain't know if there was a dramatic pause. People realize we got some views on YouTube. I don't know y'all style. We all of us getting a little. All of us. We got some views now. I ain't know if there was a dramatic pause, but I like the point you're making, Jay. I like the point you're making. TLC, you were taking notes on the last podcast. Let's see where you coming with this thing.
Are they necessary? Yes. The end.
Okay.
No. So in the last podcast, I guess what brought it up, just to go back for any viewer that might have missed that episode, I think you mentioned there's a YouTube thing where they show a guy by a bus stop and he's just standing there and a girl walks by and he speaks. She's not interested in him at that time. And then he goes and gets into his Corvette or his Lambo or exotic car, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden she changes her mind and starts to talk to him. So on one hand, I'm like, okay, this guy, he already knows what this girl is interested in. But there's another side of that. And that other side of that is, well, why that guy buy the car to begin with? If you're driving that car, you drove that car for a reason. To attract that type of woman. So it's another viewpoint. They are necessary, but if you have the means to afford a woman in your circle, then why not?
This gonna get good, Big J. I can tell Big J don't necessarily agree with that. We gonna come back around Robin. Jay, hold that thought, write that thought down. We gonna come back. All right, Rhonda, you got to come in here. Let me know what you think. Are gold diggers necessary? Why or why not?
The short answer is yes, they are necessary. Just like with the good and the bad, all that stuff goes into one. I was thinking about it, though, from a standpoint of not necessarily females getting at you because you have a certain thing as a man and all of that. I'm also thinking from the standpoint of the people you have in your life being gold diggers. They don't like how the light shine on you. So let me scoot on in here and get some. Trying to
okay.
But y'all can stick with the females trying to get you.
Okay.
It's a broad topic.
It's a
broad topic.
Now, look, guys, y'all got to understand. Now, hey, look, I like how Jay came with it. TLC and Ron, I like how y'all came with it. But I think they're necessary too. And why I think they're necessary. Then this conversation may go long, it may go short. Cause at the end of the day, I don't know where y'all gonna go with this thing, but let me tell y'all why I think they're necessary. In every environment, Lord Jesus, Ron, you done got that goose already. That goose to hit you already.
It was my coaster.
Okay. Oh, you got a good coaster. You ain't using a napkin like we grew up on. Hey, look. Nope. So with me, guys, the reason why I say it's necessary is every environment there's an ecosystem, right? Fish show up where there's water. Birds show up where there's air to fly, right? One of the things you guys are going to find is that the gold diggers are necessary because here's the funny thing, guys. There's certain levels you're going to get to where certain things just exist. If I go down to the Everglades right now, alligators going to be down there. If I go in that environment, that's where they are. They're necessary, Jay, because of the ecosystem, right? Now, the reason I'm telling you this, we've all grown up in church. We've all been to church. What was one of the cliches in church? New levels, new devils, right? So what happens is when you get to a certain level, you start out at a certain level where you're pulling from other people to help you get somewhere. But then you're going to get to a level where somebody else says, this person got more money, he know what to do with, let me go take it. The gold digger is a part of the ecosystem, so it's necessary because you can't control it. See, the reason why gold diggers are necessary, you can't control it, guys. And I want to get y'all thoughts on why I'm saying this. It's a part of the environment of success. How do you know you're successful? A couple different ways, but gold diggers are one of them. They don't show up. Jay, they don't show up. They don't show up where lack is. A gold digger only shows up where abundance is. Jump in there, Jay. Let me know what you think. No, go back and rip TLC first because I want to make sure that happens. And then what I gotta say.
Now, I can agree with what you're saying with that, if for sure. They only show up when there's abundance in comparison to lack. TLC, I don't know, man. If I got a Ferrari, I'm not going to be purchasing my Ferrari or my Lambo just to be hopping a gold digger in my whip. But that's just me. But that's anybody. Anybody could actually do that. I just do it because I just probably wanted it, like the car, or just was a dream of mine to have. But to each their own. Everybody's different. But at the same time, you're right, Jeff. There's an ecosystem. There's just like I mentioned before. There's always someone or something for somebody. So at the end of the day, being a gold digger is is a single man's profession, if you want to put it that way, because at the end of the day, you ain't getting no relationship out of it. The person is a transactional bid. So the thing is that you got a gold digger that actually is aiming just to go ahead and be taken care of, being pampered with, doing whatever she wants. But 9 times out of 10, you're not the only one that she's talking to, and vice versa. So my thing is that if a single man or a single woman has money that they don't know what to do with and enough of it, and they feel like they need to go out there for pleasure, then hey, by all means, that's a typical female they're going to go attract or find, but they're not going to be in a solid relationship. So it just depends on what you're trying to do.
Okay. Now, TLC, I got to let you rebuttal, and then I want to hear what you think about what I said.
Well, I agree with what B just said up until the single man's thing, because you don't have to be single. Yeah, you don't have to be single to have a gold digger. I mean,
I ain't trying to put people out there now, TLC.
I ain't putting nobody out there, but everything has a purpose. And you know what? That guy's wife might be fine with it. Hey,
that's true. That's why there's a whole bunch of swingers.
Right. Go spend time with whoever. And so he just pays this woman for her time. He spends time with her. He gets what he wants out of it. She gets what she wants out of it. So I think it's nothing wrong with a gold digger. I think when people hear gold digger, they think someone's being taken advantage of. And my point is that it might just be transactional. It might not be someone getting taken advantage of. They might both benefit each other. So
okay, now TLC, what you think about what you think about me saying it's a part of the ecosystem? I want to get your thoughts on that.
I do agree with that.
Seriously? Okay, I might need to change. I might need to change my approach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I had this thing in my head. I was going to talk about fish being around coral, and you can't just take a fish out of coral and drop it in deep water.
Yeah, he'll die.
Expect it to survive. But
it'll die.
Yep.
It'll die.
But there's certain fish that are around coral. They know how to live, and it's the same thing with gold diggers. If you are around enough of them, you know how to survive around them. So hold on,
TLC. But what happens if you lose your coral? Guess what? Where's she going? She going to the next coral, right? That's the best part about it, right? That's the best part about it. You know the deal up front. Rhonda, you got to jump in here. Rhonda. Tell me what you're thinking about the ecosystem.
The ecosystem is a good statement. I like how you put that. I can't even take that away. I can't even take that away from you. But some things people know don't belong in their ecosystem. And I don't know no guy with any type of fly ride that don't turn heads. And they may be hoes, they may be gold diggers, they may be some upstanding women. But everybody know when your ride is clean, it's tight, it's ready to go, you're gonna get some attention. And I ain't put none of y'all on blast, but let's just be real. It's what happens if they see you pull up. Now, whether you entertain them or not, right? Because people could be interested, but then you got to go a step further. Like, okay, but can they be a part of what I got going on? Because a lot of people will look. Everybody will look. But is it necessary to be in your ecosystem?
And guess what, guys? And guess what? I want to say this, TLC, before I come back to you. When I brought up the word ecosystem, I did that because me and Jay down here in Florida, right? And we got a lot of invasive species down here. We got invasive species, Jay, right? The python is an invasive species. The iguana, they come here, they get bought in, they're an invasive species, and they start messing up the ecosystem. Why am I saying this to you guys? You got some gold diggers who are invasive. They invasive. They not ready. They not made for the ecosystem. They faking and fronting. Let's talk about the Zion Williamson thing, right? She's an invasive species into the ecosystem. Because now the gold digger is not here to destroy. The gold digger ain't supposed to destroy. TLC. The gold digger is not supposed to destroy. And when you see somebody doing what she's doing, she's destroying his ecosystem. Who would have thought we talking about Zion Williamson getting traded? All because they were talking about trading him to Charlotte there for a little bit, because they got to get him out of New Orleans. Because he's not known for basketball anymore. Now he's known for tricking off a porn star. Right? So when we talk about these invasive species, one of the things that has happened is people have been introduced to gold diggers who doing it as a hustle instead of doing it for a profession. Big J, jump in there. Let me know when you hear me say that right there. Doing it as a hustle instead of a profession. Because y'all know where I'm going with this thing. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, at the end of the day, that Zion thing is just crazy, man. I think that girl is just whack. All out of those. She need help.
Maybe it's him, Jay. Maybe it's him. I done seen the text messages, bro.
I feel you, but anybody who sit there and tattoo this man on his on her jawline on her face, that's something that needs to be sat down and dealt with.
I agree. Now both of them
she fell in love. She fell in love. That's what it is. She forgot what she was really doing it for, and she fell in love, and now she's trying to blast the man.
Absolutely, she a hustler. She a hustler. TLC, jump in there. Let me know what you're thinking.
I haven't been keeping up with the whole thing with Zion Williams. I know there was a exotic dance or a stripper or something like that.
Porn star, TLC.
Okay.
Porn star.
Who was in love with him and was saying she was going to release some sex tape or something like that.
Yeah, then Twitter suspended her account. That's
the last I heard of it.
She released the receipts of every time he sent her 10 grand, 20 grand, all that kind of stuff, just breaking her off like that. And that's when New Orleans, before the draft, was talking about trying to trade him to get one of the top three picks.
Now, where did this come about? Was Zion Williams with another woman?
Yeah, Zion Williamson.
Okay.
He did a gender reveal. With a girl that he got pregnant. And then these other girls were like, what? He got a baby. You got a baby on the way? You were talking about moving me to New Orleans.
I got it. That was going to bring me to my point, because we were talking about the ecosystem.
Yes.
And everything that is preying on something is prey to something else.
Yeah, that's predator and prey. Predator and prey, TLC. Yeah.
When you talk about gold diggers, there's someone out there who's preying on these gold diggers. So she might have thought she was getting over on him this whole time, when really it might have been maybe he was getting over her and some old women.
Well, but this is what's happening. And Ron, I want you to jump in there. But when I talk about invasive species, we getting on the gold digger, but the guy who dealing with him got to be a trained professional too. And the reason why this is a messed up situation is neither one of them knew what they were doing. They hustling. They not professionals. Ron, to jump in there, because with you and Jay being a barber, you being a massage therapist, some people don't realize y'all got a license, which means y'all ain't hustlers. Y'all are professionals. So you got to pay full price, and you got to adhere to certain standards if they want to get on your table and sit in your chair. Jump in there, Ron, and let me know what you think about these invasive species and these hustlers versus professionals.
Listen, there's hustlers in every profession. Let's
Yeah.
just start there. There's hustlers in every profession. I don't know, like y'all just fill me in on this Zion Williams stuff. I hadn't heard all of that with the receipts the girl has, but
Yes.
what I do know is just like a woman or female could be a gold digger, there also could be a man who needs a piece of arm candy, needs someone to look a certain way, and a gold digger will present herself that way. If we're going to go with the female side of things,
But guys will too, right? Guys will too, right?
yeah, right. It's no different than somebody grooming someone to become abused or to be whatever. It's just like
Yep.
all of that with Zion sounds so toxic. Like it's always like back to our podcast on why toxic.
There you go. I was about to plug it. Yeah, I'm gonna put that link in the description. Toxic relationship.
Like, yeah, and it's like, man, I don't like this dude, but man, I want to give him all of this. Yes, right. But it's something so intoxicating about that. And then you, on top of that, you're young, so you don't know. And if I got the money to flaunt it, and I could send you 10 grand here, 20 grand there, yeah, that's gonna be attracted to people who want that. You can be very attractive, but then you also have the other side where, you know, some people may want a sugar daddy. I always say, give me a sugar daddy that don't want no sugar.
And there's plenty of them like that. You better start showing some toes on OnlyFans. That's what they do.
But yeah, you know, it just sounds like a messed up situation all the way around, because that's just messed up.
Yes. TLC, I see you got your hand up, Brett. Jump in there.
I was just going back to that video we were talking about with the girl by the bus stop.
Hold on, TLC. Shout out to Yilda. If y'all don't follow Yilda on YouTube, that's the page we talking about. They do these gold digger videos. Yilda, YELDA. Shout out to Yilda. I'll put the link in the description too, man. Y'all go check it out to see these guys got a hell of a channel. It's a pretty sweet channel. Go ahead, TLC.
I was just gonna say for that girl that's jumping on that guy's car, it might not even be his car. It could be rented. It could be his boy's car. So you know, they might be gold diggers, but again, they might be the ones taking advantage of. You just don't know. So
and let's talk about it like this. Kanye West had the song "Gold Digger," right? And one of the things, the reason I wanted to bring this up, guys, and y'all know me, man, I done got this new technology, so I get to share my screen about an article that was sent to me that really made me want to jump into this, and I want to go into this pretty quickly in the podcast as opposed to waiting till the end, because I want to get everybody's feedback on it. And so let me share this. Let me share my screen real fast and let y'all see it. Oh. Let's see what we got right here. And I wanted y'all to see this. All right. I hope y'all can see it. TLC, can you see it?
Partly. The treasure wives were women.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just make sure it's I hate to do it too big. All right, let's do this right here. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Right. So here's what it happens, guys. I want y'all to read this article that got sent to me. The treasure wives, and this is what they would call gold diggers, right? This is what we call gold diggers. But once again, we got taught wrong. And here it is right here. The treasure wives were women who married rich, powerful, and often significantly older men with the primary goal of wealth accumulation. But unlike other instances of gold digging, these women were institutionalized. The practice was a generally accepted part of society during this period, when women chosen specifically for their beauty and charm, and men marrying them with the full knowledge of their motive. Here's where it gets interesting. The treasure wives often didn't live with their husbands. Instead, they were provided with luxurious homes and a stipend to live their lives separately. These women often amassed considerable wealth and power, and in some instances, even influenced political affairs. This practice was largely exclusive to the rich and powerful in society, and while it was common knowledge at the time, it was kept relatively private. This unusual form of institutionalized gold digging demonstrate how different cultures and time periods have handled relationships and wealth. I said, did I get taught wrong again?
Yes.
I said, God, hold on. You can get this woman. She don't live with you. That's how you showed off your wealth. I said, oh my God, let's get back into this thing, Jay. Let's get back into this thing. Because we didn't get taught treasure wives. We got taught gold digger. And we got taught gold digger from a standpoint of, all right, once you get some money, the only reason she wants you is because of your money. Mm-hmm. We never got taught that this was a wealth accumulation thing, that you make so much money, you had all these women that you were married to that didn't even live with you. That's how people knew you had money. You had all this money that you could have these treasure wives. Jay, jump in there, bruh. Let me know what you think when you see that article, bruh.
Man, where they doing this at? Man, that's just that's something for the past, I guess. I mean, not for nothing. If that was instilled in today's society, then by all means, I think every man would love it. You know what I mean?
Jay, how you know it ain't in today's society still?
I mean, like the article said, it's kept very private.
So, I don't think so.
Jay, I don't think happening right now, Jay.
I believe you. I believe it. Why you think my boy what's his name that be on the yachts and carrying around all these female, what's his name, Dan Bilzerian, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Dan Bilzerian doing that because at first he went ahead and got married to one person. He's instantly got divorced. He said, man, bump this. I'm attracted to multiples. So you know, and that's the life that he's living in right now. But at the same time, it's not to say that that's seemed to be right in society's standpoint. You know what I mean? Hey, Jeff, by the way, check out the chat when you get a chance too, bro. Check out the chat when you get a chance.
Hold on, let me see what's going on. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Oh, okay. Khalil, what's up, dog? That's Jay's son in the chat. He always getting on me on how I moderate. I see him in the chat. But Jay, this is what I want to go there, right? I want to go there. I wanted you to go first because one of the things we got to understand, marriage in its first form was property acquiring. Marriage was a spoil of war. Okay? Marriage ain't what we know as marriage. Marriage ain't what we know as marriage, right? Because back in the day, you couldn't even get married unless you were a landowner and all that kind of stuff. And then they start letting people have civil unions and that kind of thing. So the reason I got this article sent to me is I'm coming to you, TLC. It's happening right now. But our financial status won't allow us to get into that private conversation. TLC, jump in there. Let me know what you're thinking, TLC.
I think it's definitely happening right now. When you read that quote from the paper, the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, I don't know other cultures, but the first thing that came to my mind was people who have multiple wives, like married to multiple women. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, okay, you got several wives. Which role does each wife play? You hear people say, like, my first wife she lives with me, but then the second one, the third one, the fourth, like, I don't know what roles they play. I didn't want to call them gold diggers because, again, right. I don't understand other cultures. I don't want to disrespect anybody. But when I read that, that's what popped in my mind, like people who are married to multiple people.
Yeah, so, me too. Same thing.
But look, before we go to Rhonda though, remember what this says. What happens when the name changes to treasure wives?
Yes.
We got taught gold digger. But the true name of it was a treasure wife. Guess why I don't qualify for this? I ain't got no treasure.
Right.
Say right. See, the reason why it ain't happening where I'm at, there ain't no treasure over here. Right? Like, at the end of the day, I can get my mortgage paid. I damn sure ain't about to have you getting a mortgage paid and ain't over there with you. TLC, how much money do you have? And notice, they didn't say one. This is multiple wives staying in their own crib, and you don't even see them.
I mean, it's people who own oil fields, and they got millions of dollars a day pumping out of the ground. Like, they don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what pops in my mind. But,
bruh, treasure wives. And see, what I'm telling you, Jay, is this. I'm sitting here like, somebody sent this to me and was like, you got to talk about this on the podcast. I said, we ain't qualified to talk about this on the podcast. But I said, I got taught they were gold diggers and stay away from them. Yeah. I ain't realize it was treasure wives and go get as many as you can to show off your wealth. Jump in there, Rhonda. Let me know what you think. Let Rhonda, before you go, because now that I've seen Khalil in the chat, I hate to even throw it to you like I normally do. Now I'm all shook. I'm trying to come up with a different way on the fly to throw it to y'all. But go ahead, Rhonda. Let me know what you think. And I just did it again. Go ahead.
Best way. Hey, that's the best way to put it.
All I know is stuff gets the way stuff gets filtered throughout the generation and throughout different cultures. It's just unfortunate. when you hear the word treasure and wife put together, that does put a different spin on it. But what stood out to me is that gold diggers have to be seen. Gold diggers have to be known that they after this man, they with this man. And so if you're a treasure wife, there's a certain level about you that know, like, I know my place with this guy. This is what he's providing, and I don't have to deal with all the BS. Now, the minute we catch emotions, and that's why stuff gets twisted, because females will tend to fall in love with something when it was all about fashion in the first place, or an appearance in the first place. And so
but don't just go back to hustle and professional though. This is what happens. You a hustler because you love the barber. You're a hustler because you love massage. But you're a professional when you want to make money off of it. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, because
right?
it is like that. But yeah, like if I think if people had the mindset, though, if women had the mindset of being a treasure wife, I think you would probably have more of that going on if they understood their role. But because sometimes it can be where we need to have control, or we need to know that we're the only one, because that's how we got taught. If that man loves you, he loves you. If that man is with you, he's with you. And I want y'all two married people to be married after this call, so I'm gonna tread light.
We gonna be.
I'm broke, so I'm me and
Jay don't qualify for it. Me and Jay don't qualify for it, so we safe.
It is.
But gold diggers will also look at potential. So they will also look at potential.
Look, but see, treasure wives, guys, and we got taught this because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff we got taught is so we wouldn't go out there and get somebody pregnant. Our family couldn't handle the financial burden already, so we got taught a lot of stuff. Go get somebody who ain't about the money. Go get somebody who gonna love you for you. Go get somebody who gonna love you when things are down, when the chips are down, when everything is falling in on you. Go get somebody like that. Well, here's the problem: once things start getting better, y'all don't talk the same language.
Mm-mm.
And these women are sitting here waiting. These women are sitting here waiting for that significant other that you got at home to start nagging you because you're successful. That's all they do. They sitting here waiting. TLC, jump in there. Let me know. Let me know what you think since you got your hand up.
So I'm not familiar with the Zion situation. Is that what happened here? The homegirl was cool until he announced he had a baby. And
he announced he had a baby. But if you look at the text messages, he was saying, "I want to move you to New Orleans." He was doing all of this stuff. She was even on. She was on Stephen A. Smith's YouTube live. She went into his comments to talk to Stephen A. Smith. Like, look, I got plenty of stuff I can release with this guy. And what happens is, guys, remember, this is why what you got these people. This ain't nothing to play with. If you gonna go down this lane, you need to establish stuff up front. That's why when I saw this article, these women, this was wealth accumulation for these women. This was not to be seen next to you.
Right.
You as a man, you had to, as a man, you were judged based on how many women you had on your payroll at your pleasure. Go ahead, TLC.
So the porn star, in her mind, she thought she was Zion's main girl.
She thought he was gonna wife her. She thought he was gonna wife her.
I got you now. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And when she saw that he had a baby, and I think that's why the baby mama made him have a gender reveal, because she knew it was gonna smoke it out. Zion Williamson announced that he's having a baby. And why is this a story, guys? Why is this a story? Zion Williamson on the basketball court. And the reason why these treasure wives didn't stay with these businessmen, you can't be a distraction to a businessman.
Sure can't.
Now, Zion Williamson, they talking about trading this man. And if Zion Williamson don't get healthy, Zion Williamson going to be out of the league. And one of the things, Jay know, he and I get together, man, I'm in that shop every Thursday. And the first thing we preach to everybody in there, you better not forget that business is the foundational thing you better do. Because when that business dry up, everybody who you think you in love with, they got to go somewhere else. They got to go somewhere else where somebody's focused on business. And this is the one thing you got to love about women. Women ain't going to leave you to go get somebody less.
No, for what?
Women gonna always get somebody who got more than you and ain't gonna apologize for it. So what happens is you got people out here, Ronnie, you brought up that E word, that emotion word.
Yeah.
Zion has been commercialized since he was 12. And when you look at some of his texts, when you look at how he talks to these women, he's talking to them like he's a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And because he got taught all these things, you had to love a person, you got all this emotional stuff, read his text. But he's doing something that's a business. And that's why he got exposed. That's why I said hustlers versus professionals. You can't come into this game with emotion. Nothing in that article said anything about emotion. This was a wealth accumulation, and you typically got an older guy because you knew he was going to die. Hopefully, he passed some of that business along to you and all this kind of stuff. Go ahead, Ron, jump in there.
Well, and in this day and age, everybody keep receipts. People so
your phone
ready.
keeping it. Your phone keeping it.
Right. So like, and it's like, so is it really love and that you care about somebody, or you just holding it till the perfect time so that I can expose you for everything? And
well,
that's
you
the
know it's too.
part, because if you talk about him texting like he's 12 or a younger kid, that's unfortunate, because he probably was believing her just like she was believing him, but he also had some coochie right there. He had coochie. Can I say that word? I just said it.
You can.
Okay. like he had some right there.
We old. That's what they say. That's what they say at our age. Ron, it's so funny though. It's so funny. The reason why I'm saying that to you is because the girl knew it was too good to be true, right? As you say, the math ain't mathing, right? The math ain't mathing. So the girl knew it was too good to be true. So she was keeping receipts because she said this gonna blow up. The things he's saying ain't adding up. So he got something else going on that he ain't telling me, right? So I know you ain't playing. You supposed to be rehabbing. You're not rehabbing. You gaining weight while you supposed to be rehabbing and getting healthy so you can play. And what happened with Zion? The reason this happened? New Orleans got into that play-in game and lost, and he couldn't play. And he was showing himself dunking and all this kind of stuff. But the medical team was like, nah, man, you ain't meeting your metrics. So yeah, you can sit out here and dunk, you can do all that stuff, but you ain't meeting your metrics. The New Orleans knew what Zion was doing the entire time. Why? These professional sports leagues have private investigators following these guys all the time. All the time.
It's an investment. It's an investment.
It's an investment. So what I'm saying to you guys is, Jay, you hear that word treasure wife. And all of a sudden, how does that change the dynamic for you?
I mean, let me go back one thing too, to say that at one point in time, what female don't keep receipts? I mean, I've been in plenty of situations where almost every single female that I encountered or know, friends or whatever, they all keep receipts. But as far as to answer your question, treasure wives, I do got a question though. So these treasure wives, they can't see no one else. They got to be in the house by themselves. They can't be in another relationship or anything like that.
Hold on. Let me pull the article back up, Jacob. Now, I did a little bit of research, right? I did a little bit of research beyond this article. Yeah, they didn't do nothing else, Jay. This was a business for them. They ain't see, the guy was older. They just had to bid their time.
So they had to bid their time. They had no other interaction with no other males.
They had no other interaction with no other man, bruh. They were there. Wow. They were there, right? And this is what it said. Now, and I'm going there with private message. And the reason why I'm talking about this, guys, and I just pulled the article back up on purpose. If y'all are following this Hunter Biden situation, and we don't get political on the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, but a lot of people got a little squirrely. Not because they give a damn about what's happening with Hunter Biden. But this week, somebody dropped a WhatsApp message that Hunter Biden ended up having. Now everybody using WhatsApp because they think that it's encrypted from end to end. So see, they got it. And that dude said, "I'm here with my father right now, and if that money ain't here like you said, me and my father hold a grudge." Joker's got $10 million a week later. They released a WhatsApp message. So for all of y'all out there using WhatsApp, you better go on back to using Messenger because you ain't hiding. They just released that thing. And I'm just telling you, Jay, that second paragraph, here's where it gets interesting. The treasure wives often didn't live with their husbands. Instead, they were provided with luxurious homes and a stipend to live their lives separately. These women often amassed considerable wealth and power, and in some instances, even influenced political affairs. And what you're seeing is these women didn't deal with anybody else because they knew they were going to get an influx of money. And these women, Rhonda said it in the beginning, they didn't want the script to be flipped on them once that money came in.
That's a lonely life.
They did, right? So here's the funny thing.
I'm straight with my money.
Here's the funny thing. Let me go on back up. Y'all got to understand now. I'm into this thing. I want y'all to see this one. Everyone, hold on. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. Y'all remember him.
Yeah.
Everyone uses examples of female gold diggers, and certainly history has proven many such women exist. But what about the male gold digger, Jeremy Meeks?
I mentioned that
is
earlier.
one such man, right? Right? And when his mugshot went viral, this is what's happening, guys. Look at this dude. He started to flip the script. This man got out of jail and now he rocking Gucci. I'm gonna just leave it right there for a little bit. I'm gonna just leave that thing right there for a little bit. Now, what Rhonda said in the beginning, she didn't know I was even gonna come here. But this man rocking Gucci, and the reason why he got in trouble was because it became visible. A treasure wife or a treasure husband has to remain incognito.
Yeah, you got to be quiet.
The moment it becomes public, it becomes a disaster because it's shunned upon in pop culture. Why? And I hate to say this, but for people like us who grew up in lack, we weren't allowed to learn this because we couldn't afford the possible mishaps that could come out of relationships like this. This is why they try to keep the poor middle class from knowing this and make you think everything is about you got to find one that can do everything. But the people at the higher echelons of society, they don't have these same things. And Kanye used to say it, right? Kanye said, how am I going to stay faithful in a room full of H's, right? Not H's, W's. Remember, I'm like your boy on Rush Hour. I'm like your boy on Rush Hour. Telling your mama is a H. You mean a W? But that's why I brought it up, Jay. TLC, jump in there. Let me know what you're thinking real fast.
I'm a little lost on the last article you put up.
That was
I recognize the guy, and I know he was doing some modeling for like major labels. Did he get dropped or something? Or
no. So he started getting with these wealthy women. His mugshot dropped, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's hot." Well, the problem is people started sending him money. Y'all see it today. Some people get arrested and they got a hot mugshot. Or even like the girl from Home Depot. Remember the girl from Home Depot that posted her picture and Shaq hit her up in the DMs?
Okay.
Yeah. And she was like, oh my God, worst thing that ever happened to her was posting that picture. She quit Home Depot, did not know how to handle this because she'd been told, get with somebody who gonna love you for you. Well, here's what we don't understand about loving you for you. When your situation changes, the ecosystem changes. When your situation changes, your ecosystem changes. And this is why you better get with somebody who understands you 25 years from now than the person who understands you now. Because if you elevate, here's the deal, guys. What allows us to fly in a plane? Right? The plane has compressed air. Was it compressed air? Or whatever it is, right? That allows us to fly at 30,000 feet. What happens if the plane loses compression? Right? Now we can't breathe. Right? Yeah. You better get with somebody who understands you now and understands you 25 years from now. And that's why Jay, and that's why I'm glad we brought this up. These dudes did this when they got older, which means I had reached my cruising altitude. I didn't reach my cruising altitude. Go take the seatbelt off. Flight attendants, go ahead and start the service. We cruising. TLC, I see you looking up. Tell me what's on your heart, brother.
I don't know how I was going to tie this in because it just popped into my mind. But whenever I thought about, like, you know, Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, they always dress kind of casual. You know, I know Steve Jobs used to wear the same thing almost every
Jeans
day.
and a black shirt.
I used to wonder why. But then I was like, they're not really trying to attract people who are interested in their outer shell. They're looking for people who can connect with them on their creativity and their mindset. So now it makes more sense to me now. So when I see like the model or whatever thing doing all that, it's like he's putting himself out there, but who is he attracting when he does that? Like maybe he was looking for those type of women, and so he's just a victim of himself, really. Like
them women found him.
Go ahead, Jay.
Them women found him. It's just like with anything, just like these Instagram models and how they actually going out there doing their thing. There's certain individuals that like to see people like that. Like you have a unique look to yourself or attraction, then some individuals don't don't mind DMing you or sending you a little cash app or sending a little something in, in order to just say, hey, look here, if you entertain what I got going on, this is what can be sent to you almost every time. So, and like I said,
by the way, ladies, it's TL Clayton on Instagram. Just
whatever.
Just throw it out.
Ain't nobody said no one said no one ever said no one ever.
The joke I didn't
take. Shoot your shot, boy.
Said no woman ever.
I like a little change.
Said no woman. TLC said I hide all day, ladies. Just keep the money flowing. I hide right in this house. Right, you can find me right at this house. But
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but it's funny, Jay, what you're saying, and I think that what we got to start recognizing, guys, is that we got taught a certain thing based on our financial status. And I had to learn that. You get taught a certain thing. I know what I got taught about gold diggers. I know what I got taught. Jeff, you going places, there's going to be people who only want you because of what you have. Well, realistically, the point is, I remember when I first went to corporate America and you see the CEO of the company making millions. You see the CEO of the company making millions, and you see every woman that work at the company going after the CEO. Why is that? And the reason they're going after the CEO is because, and the reason he's not even recognizable, because these gold diggers understood wealth. So the fact that you coming after me and everybody can see it, I know you ain't qualified to be around me. Mm-hmm. And I want to say this to all my listeners, and then TLC, Ronald, we're going to come to you. Then Jay and TLC. We got to remember, for all the listeners out there, the first qualification of wealth is to know what the hell you're doing. You got to be good at your profession.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people got to understand the only reason Zion Williamson is in his position, he forgot his profession.
Yeah.
And it's blowing up in his face. And you better understand, I've said it on previous podcasts, there's two questions that matter. What's your name and what do you do? And they don't fall in love with the name. They fall in love with what you do. Right? Because here's the deal, guys. I'm a solid 4 or 5. Then people find out what I do. Hey, yeah, Jeff. What black dude named Jeff? What he do? Oh, right. That's it, right?
People be. I'm like,
hey, Ron, that's what I had to learn. What I realized is they weren't going after the identity. They wanted that CEO title. This is wealth accumulation for them. This ain't about you. This is about the wealth you generate. And again, y'all let's talk Kim Kardashian and Kanye. Every other guy that got with her wasn't ready for her wealth, wasn't ready for her riches. Kanye got with her and was like, I'll make you a billionaire. And don't nobody talk about her no more since she and Kanye got divorced. She trying to make herself relevant again. Kanye increased her. Wasn't no scams, right? Wasn't no scams before Kanye. Look at what she said. Kanye got me in the boardrooms because other people wouldn't let me in the boardroom because of what? The sex tape.
Yeah.
We ain't in the sex tape business. I can't go home and tell my wife I had a meeting with you. Kanye got her into these boardrooms, right? Wasn't no skincare products. Hey guys, y'all look, when y'all write down in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong. But what happened is she got with wealth. And when Wealth started acting a little crazy, what she do? She said, I'm out. But now Wealth started to get his bands about him. Adidas had to give him his money back. He walking around with somebody with the same type of body as her. Now she out there talking about the man she looking for. Because at the end of the day now, she is dependent on some wealthy guy who wants to keep her out of sight. But she can't be out of sight because all of her wealth is tied to her being visible. That's what I want you guys to see. Everybody on this platform, y'all good at what you do. And the first thing people do, I see it in Jay's shop. And I'm using Jay because I'm right down here with him. First thing people say, oh, you a barber? Okay. They say, well, I know you any good. Jay say, all right, man, go to my social media. You see how I cut. Right? Like, look, and that's one of my favorite scriptures. What did Jesus say? You don't believe me for the words I say, believe me for the works I do. Go look at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Resume speaks for itself.
The resume speaks for itself. So when we look at this, guys, as treasure wives, when you hear that, Rhonda, when you hear what I just said, tell me what you're thinking, and then we're gonna go to TLC, then we'll finish up with Jay.
Listen, I'm all here for the treasure wives. Now, if people get that's on them. That ain't for me to be concerned with. All I know is there's a time and a place for everything. And from most women's standpoint, they want to know that they're provided for and they're secure. Now, if you end up getting the goodies or getting the goods with them, hey, then that's just extra. But at the end of the day, if their needs are being met from that standpoint where they are provided for and things are available to them, most women would be good. It's just that now you mix in social media. I gotta be seen. I gotta be in the spotlight. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. No, I would be content sitting back. Now, that's a difference from being a side piece than a treasure wife. And so I'm here for the treasure wife.
Different podcast, man.
Yeah.
Different podcast. TLC. What you think? I see you looking up, TLC. I'm trying to tap into this brain of yours because I've seen you look up too many times, and I hear you got some things to say, but you're a little afraid.
I just phase out from time to time and then I phase back in. But no, it does have a positive spin on it when you say treasure wives. You know, gold digger has that negative connotation where she's out to get the guy and this and that. But when you say treasure wives, it's like she has a role to play. Like like everything's above board now for some reason. You know, there's no undercutting or anything. It just seems so positive. So
yeah. Jay, what about you, Jay? Look at Jay. Jay said ain't nothing positive about it.
Hey, look, y'all ain't gonna like what I gotta say, but I gotta go against the grain with this one because at the end of the day, I hear what y'all saying. That sounds cute, but treasure wives, gold diggers, all the above. I mean, to each their own. And like I said, if I was ever, I can't say because I'm not in that tax bracket, you know. But my mentality now with who I am, if I was to ever get like wealth, win the lotto, become a billionaire, whatever the case may be, me personally, I can't still see myself wasting money on a quote unquote treasure wife. I'm gonna have multiple women in different homes to do what? Like, I mean, it defeats the purpose for me. It doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of money. But again, that's just my standpoint.
Hey Jay, I got to jump in there now before we get into the closing thoughts. Now I got to jump in there before we get into the closing thought. I want to pull this article back up now because I want to make sure everybody understand. I want to make sure everybody understand what this article was saying. And I like how Jay said he got a different perspective on it. But the one thing I liked about this article is there's a word that has 3 letters in it that ain't never mentioned in this thing. There's a word, 3 letters that ain't never mentioned in this thing. And the word sex ain't in this, and the word sex ain't in this.
At all.
So here's how you find out that people got treasure wives. Here's how you find out that people got treasure wives. All right, guys, my computer acting up. Hold on. Treasure wives, guys, they not going to be called treasure wives. They're going to be called consultants. They're going to be called mentors. They're going to be called strategic partners. They're going to be called contractors. They're going to be called life coach. They're going to be called personal trainer. See, Jay, what happened? These are tax write-offs, Jay. These are tax write-offs. Oh, TLC, I didn't woke him up. Hold on,
No.
Go ahead.
For some reason, when we were talking about trophy wives, treasure wives, I was thinking, under what scenario would I have one? And I was like, if I had 3 different women, just randomly, I would have them like in 3 different countries. And they would be I'm just saying, they would be my consultants. Like, you know, I might need someone that can speak a little Mandarin. I might need someone that can speak a little Spanish. You have 3 women in 3 different countries to translate for you.
And then what you gonna do? There. And what you gonna do when you get back to the hotel with her? What you gonna do when you get back to the hotel with her?
No. You're wealthy. You have a house there in that country.
Yeah.
You go to that country and she's there. You're with her while you're in that country, and then you bounce to the next country to your next consultant.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. The reason I'm giving y'all these titles now, because all these people show up when the resources show up. See, and this is the whole point. Resources matter. And when your resources get to a certain level, these are professional women and professional men, Rhonda, for that perspective, that are going to show up. We don't call them treasure wives now because socially it's not acceptable. So what have these women become now? They become consultants. They become advisors. They've become a title that allows you to write it off on your taxes, Jay. See, remember, ain't no sex involved in this. This is a wealth thing. How many people are you employing? How many people do business with your company? Now, we don't realize this because when you grow up in LAC, you don't get taught this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get taught this.
I could get a tax write off with getting land and putting cows on it. I mean,
absolutely. But what's gonna happen with all the other billions you got? How many cows and land you got? Right? Jay, remember what they said is this is older. So let's just assume all of us in our 60s. Uh-huh. You done bought your cows and your land now, Jay. What you gonna do? And you don't want that money to go into the government. You don't want that. Look, we keep wondering why LeBron James got all these businesses. Because you're writing them off. Why do these guys have agents? Why do these guys have coaches, trainers, all these titles that allow you to write it off? Mm-hmm. That's why I pulled back the article.
So we just giving it to women just cause?
No, you giving it to a lot of people in your ecosystem.
Yes, but
you giving it to a lot of people in your ecosystem, Jay.
Yeah.
Right? You giving it to a lot of people because you're not having sex with these people. These are people that show off your wealth. Go ahead, TLC.
Like I was saying, I was joking around about having 3 different women in 3 different countries, but you could have a woman in another country as your consultant. She manages your mansion or whatever, the staff and everything. She's like your contact. And that's like her actual job.
But TLC, you took 3 different chicks to Epcot, didn't you? You had one meet you in different countries?
You know
I'm just messing with you.
I'm breaking up. I can't quite hear you. Something's wrong in my headset.
Yeah, it ain't clear. It ain't clear, TLC. I thought you took 3 different women to Epcot. They ain't know. Since they were different countries, TLC, you left them in each country, right?
You breaking up on me.
I mean, now with what TLC said, I could agree with that. Like if it was real, like if you had like different mansions and different places that you couldn't really foresee for yourself, and you have women oversee it for you and manage it, and by the time you get over there, you have a place to go stay with, and the person who's managing it is actually the person that you happen to hang around with for the weekend. But you already knew Whoop-de-Whoop is always involved in that. But so I'm just saying, like,
not necessarily, Jay. It ain't always involved, Jay.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's blowing up, and that's why it's blowing up in Zion's face. That's why it's blowing up in Zion's face. You get into this game because you're showing off your wealth. You're not getting in this game to fulfill your flesh. And that was the number one reason it got sent to me, because we've been taught that they were sleeping with you because you had money.
Yeah.
And or you came into some money, or you one of the highest paid people at the company. We didn't get taught that this was just, I'm expanding my empire, and they're all vying to get my wealth when I transfer it. And I never knew that. It never got taught to me. Right? And that's all I'm saying, guys, with this podcast. We might have to do a part 2 on this, TLC. It's been a while since I said we're gonna do a part 2. Because I think we got Jay. I think Jay got a lot more to say now. I think Jay like, nah, man, y'all crazy right now. I ain't feeling all this. Now, guys, look, that's the whole perspective, right? That's the whole perspective. As we get ready to close this thing out, Jay, give me your closing statements. TLC, we're gonna come to you, then Rhonda, we're gonna close it out. And man, Jay, let me know what you're thinking, man. What's your closing statement to the listeners?
I mean, my closing statement is to be continued.
Jay want a part 2? Jay want a part 2?
Because honestly, I hear it and I see the title, I see everything, but I mean, I don't know. I really can't. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Okay, no problem. Hey, now we got to have part 2. I ain't never thought I'd hear Big J the barber, as Big E said. I ain't never thought I'd hear Jay say he ain't got nothing to say. TLC, jump in there, let me know what you think.
Well, the topic were gold diggers necessary? Mm-hmm. And I would say the answer to that is yes. They do play a role in society. I think we give them a negative stereotype, as in they're taking advantage of people, but that's not always the case. I feel like sometimes it's mutual. There are no winners or losers, just part of life.
Okay. Rhonda, what's your final thought?
Yes, gold diggers are necessary. But I love how you can think wealth with treasure-wise as opposed to lack with gold diggers.
Yeah.
And it'll put a different spin on everything when you look at it like that. And I love the aspect that it doesn't have to always lead with intimacy or flesh stuff, because that's where stuff does get messed up.
Yep.
And so if you keep the main thing, and you keep it business, treasure wise has a nice ring to it. Point blank in the period. We don't always need the thing slanging all the time. We don't need that all the time. Back to you, JB. Back to you, man. Let me get
that country time lemonade. That country time lemonade ain't no joke. And y'all know my final thought, man. Look, anything that gets sent to me about wealth, I'm putting it on the podcast with people that I enjoy talking to. Okay. And that's the one thing about y'all. Y'all got to understand about this podcast. This is real people having real conversations. This ain't real people trying to win a debate. This is real people having real conversation. That's why I enjoy talking to these people about these topics, because we may not necessarily agree. My closing thought on this is these women are here because you have grown so much, and they're there to help you grow it even more because they want it when you leave here. They want it when you leave. They here to grow it. So all y'all out there messing with these chicks or messing with these dudes who taking your wealth, who's not helping you grow, who don't come to you and say, I got this business idea and here's how it would work for your business. And I want to see you grow because I know you're going to turn around and give me a piece of it too. Man, y'all need to get away from these people. Anybody who leading with flesh, anybody who leading with trying to attract you to the physical, when your resources come in, get away from them. Because there's certain, in the ecosystem, there's treasure wives who want to grow your wealth, and there's gold diggers who want to take it. And we better recognize that, stay away, right? Stay away, because at the end of the day, they are necessary, but some are hustling and some are professionals. And that's my closing thought. And y'all know what it is. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I'm the Real Cigar Jeff. You can find me on Instagram at the Real Cigar Jeff. You can find me on Facebook at Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. And of course, man, you on YouTube. If you ain't smashed that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell notification. You better do it right now. Get down in that comment section, man. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And of course, man, give us that comment. Share this with your friends. Share this with your family, man. And y'all get the merch. Support the channel. All that stuff is below in the description. And of course, I got to thank my panel. Once again, he came back. We always glad to bring in Big J to the hometown hookup edition. Remind them, Jay, where they can find you at on the socials.
Oh, yeah, always Big J the Barber on Instagram. One and only BIGJAYTATBARBER. Hey, y'all see it's not edited. It's never edited.
That Tito, TLC. Let them know where they can find you on the socials.
As always, you can find me at Instagram at TL Clayton #1. I've got the Patreon, the joke I didn't tell, my Cash app for all the ladies. Nah, go ahead.
Y'all, hey, look, y'all go over there, follow my boy. Y'all, look, first of all, all of my people, go over there and follow Big J on his YouTube. All of my people, go to TLC's page. He just dropped his amateur stand-up, man, at Comedy Goodnight, at Charlie Goodnight's up there in Raleigh, man. He did it last week. That's why we didn't put a podcast out. He did it. I did not want to have this discussion without all four of us up here. Y'all go to his page, man. Look at his set that he did. He ain't win, but boy, he got some content to be able to put out there. So, at the end of the day, guys, y'all go support him over there, TL Clayton 1 on Instagram, man. Support that Patreon channel too. Man, Rhonda, tell them where they can find you at on them socials.
RMB LMBT.
Man, and y'all know what it is, man. It's the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast. I think we done realized that, man, look, outside of Big J, everybody think them gold diggers necessary. So we going to have to do a part 2 because Big J got some explaining to do. It's 3-1. I need to be convinced that Big J got something that he didn't share tonight, man. And until next time, we going to holler.
Yeah. It's your boy JB, live and direct to you. You know what it is. Like and subscribe to.